Thank you, Starla. Okay, so branding. I'm gonna kind of wreck your world right now, and I hope you guys take the journey with me. Okay. So many times we're trying to post so many different layers of us that we don't even master the one layer of what we're trying to post, right? We have all these different topics, like, for example, anxiety, dog mom, infertility. These are some of my layers. Marriage, teen mom, sobriety, right? Like I've gone through all these layers, right? But if I'm constantly talking about all these layers, how am I supposed to get to the nitty gritty people that I want on my team when I am talking about a million different topics? Did I already wreck your world? Because you hear you hear about me talking about branding and pillars, and you've heard me, you hear other leaders teach on this, right? But you can't master all these things if you're constantly trying to be wearing all the hats and all the different layers of who you are. So here's the thing. I need you to get so clear on what your niche is. So for example, I'm going to use Krissa as an example because she's been with me since A1 day one. Krissa is a like literally does everything for her family. She is one, Chris is laughing at me, but she's literally one woman that I can tell you that I admire so much because she wears all the hats with such grace, but she literally like goes nonstop. I don't know how she does it, nor do I want to know, because like it takes a whole nother level of superwoman that I just can't keep up with. But here's the thing, she can. Okay. So I need you to help. I need you guys to hear this piece. Her PowerPoint, and I kind of like brought it up this weekend to her because I value her so much, is sports and sports mom. Okay. Her kids literally go in and are in all the things. But so often we can get caught up in being like, hey, I'm going to talk about marriage. I'm going to talk about being a mom. Okay, that's great. But I could literally go in and post about 10,000 different things about being a mom, right? Her power strength is sports mom. So what I was explaining in ways is that is your brand, that is your niche, and that is the only thing that you should be kind of focalizing on, because that is your strength. Okay, for me, mine's mindset. You guys know that. So, I mean, I kind of leaned away from my sobriety, which I'm actually connecting back into, because that's a huge part of my life is my sobriety, like in every aspect of it. And so that is the area that I can niche down, because there's so many sobriety moms, so many moms that are trying to get sober, or so many moms that have been sober. That is my strength, right? So if I'm speaking to that strength, I'm niching into that market. And the more I niche into that market, the more I'm going to attract that niche back. Instead of getting caught up and trying to talk about all the things and talking about all these layers, I want you to get clear on one layer about you. One, that's it. I'm trying to make this easier for you guys to niche down on who you are and what you bring to the table. What are you eating? What you bring to the table. Because let's list it. If you can think of one word, and I want some participation in the chat, or what you can unmute if you want. What would be one word that came to mind about who you are as a person? What would it be? Put it in the comments. Okay. So
hey, Britt.
Did someone say something?
It's
Put it in the chat, Boo. Okay, so 1 second. What would be a niche? Okay, so when I see these, okay, I see very broad spectrum topics. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is why I want to do this with you guys, okay? So for example, mom. Okay, so Shanice, I'm going to use your story a little bit because I know your story and it's so powerful. You're a mom that survived the hardest circumstances that you went through in labor. Okay. Have you shared that? Do you get what I'm saying? Like niching into that specific piece of your mom, like being a mom. So for example, like, yes, homeschool mom, that is a niche that you can speak to. My blended family, that is a niche you can speak to. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, instead of just being like mom, what part of being a mom? Is it toddler mom? Okay, so if it's toddler mom, for example, preemie mom, do you know how many moms have dealt with preemies? How did you get through it with like the emotions, the hormones, the healing, the NICU, all the things, right? There's so many layers. If you hone into these things, the more you niche into these specifics, the more you'll be able to pull from your why and your story, your vision, and share your captions to share value. Do you get what does that make sense so far? Is this making sense so far? I think sometimes we have so many parts of our brand that it's so intimidating to create captions because we're like, what do we talk about? Who can relate? I can relate to that. I mean, there's a lot this weekend. I was like, I don't know what to put in my caption. Like I go through these things too. Okay. But when in doubt, action it out. I need you to write that down. When in doubt, action it out. Okay, but what are you overcoming? What are you growing through? These are the things that you have to niche into more, okay? The more you get clarity around your vision by understanding what you bring to the table, the more you're going to have power into putting into your captions and the value to transfer. I cannot stress this enough. You got to stop pitching this business and this product. I show it every single day. You will always see me showing my products in my stories. You will always see me talking about this business in sprinkles. Sprinkles. What I mean by that is I don't go and be like, join this business today. You're going to get free product, this, and that. I do it in sprinkles. But my actual captions, if you go through, are talking about overcoming limits, overcoming fears, overcoming circumstances, and the tools to do that, because that's a part of my brand. So when you're doing your captions, you stop pitching and selling in them. That's a part of our business in the DMs, in the messages. I can get into a whole topic about, are you even having conversations? Are you even having carrying conversations, building genuine connections? Because there's the key right there. We are in a networking marketing business. Networking is building friendships. Marketing is sharing value, sharing you. Lavelle is not the brand. I'm the brand. People come to me because of me, period. Just like if I decided to leave Lavelle, which will never happen in my whole entire life, and I went to another company, they're going to follow me because of me. Okay. So I want this to, if I went to your page right now, and we're going to do some social media do's and don'ts on this. This is just going to be a quick training. If I went to your page right now, would I see you constantly trying to sell a product in a business? If I went to your bio right now, would I constantly see you trying to sell a product or a business? If I went to your stories right now, would I see you constantly showing a product or a business? Okay, so there's two sides to this. So it's either yes, or it's not at all. Do you get what I'm saying? Either you're inconsistent, you're not showing up consistently, and there's the issue right there, and you're sharing everything else but the business and the products. Like, you got to talk about your products for people to know you have products first off, or you're sharing about it too much and nothing about you. I can name 5 different people on here, and I know behind the scenes of what they're going through because they have came to me and shared vulnerably what they're going through, but their audience has no idea. Make sense? This also is not just an online business. I'm a billboard for my products and my business. I wear my products loud and proud. When people ask me about them, I say it's wearable nutrition. I don't get intimidated by it. I'm the key to the kingdom for them. I'm here to unlock people's lives. So when you're going through things, and I love that you asked that question, so thank you. when you're going through things, I don't share the negative side of the things I'm going through. I share how I'm overcoming it. So for example, when I had my ectopic pregnancy, I went 40K 4 days later. Okay. But I shared the struggle of my emotions and why I was putting my heart into this business. I took a day or two off to heal because I had surgery. And I said, hey, you guys, I just lost a pregnancy. I'm having a very hard time right now. It's probably the hardest circumstance I've ever been through. Plus, I almost died. But I am so thankful for this business because it is the financial key to being able to afford IVF. So I'm going to go harder. Imagine the mamas out there that need this because they can't afford IVF. If I didn't have this business, I would not be able to have the option to even have children if it wasn't for this income and this business. And so when you are going through things, it's not about sharing. Even when I went through a divorce, I've been through a divorce in this industry. Okay. I've been in this industry for 6 years. I've been through it. Okay. I took people on that journey of how I found myself through that. My divorce was the pivotal moment in my life that allowed me to learn how to love myself the way that I deserved, that allowed me to be able to rise into the woman I am. And so when I was going through that, I explained, hey, it's hard. And hey, I'm struggling. And hey, I'm going through things. And hey, I'm human. But I do know one thing is I chose me. And I loved me enough to know what I wouldn't settle for and to know what I wouldn't put around myself or my son. And so I know other mamas can relate. And if you are, my inbox is open just to chat. It's not about getting people in your inbox to sell a product or a business. It's about getting people in your inbox to sell the value of where you have gone through and what you've overcome or what you were going through. I see people operating in their plan B, which is going to a job. You're like, hey, I'm a part of this company, but I'm looking for a job still. Imagine if you gave enough time and effort to your business to treat it like a business instead of having to go look for a part-time job. If you are needing, so for example, I have a girl that needs to make around like $500 to $1,000 a month to be able to move out of the neighborhood she's in to put her family in a safer neighborhood. I said, what are you making right now? Okay. So what does your actions behind the scene look like with what you're making right now? Okay. Now imagine fine tuning those actions to actually get the results and belief and vision behind it to match where you're going. Imagine if you just upped it every week, $30, $20. And that compounded for 90 days because we are a 90-day business team, 90 days. My work right now is a reflection of what my November checks will be. Just like my checks right now are a reflection of what my last 90 days were. And so if you're starting a part-time job, I worked anywhere from 14 to 16 hours a day when I first started this business. I was a single mom. Nick wasn't in the picture full-time like that. Let that be your power strength then. So that would be your niche, for example, working a part-time and running a business, that's your niche. You speak on that. So when I was literally going through working full-time and in school full-time and being a single mom full-time, you know what I was talking about? This is my circumstance right now and I hate it. Guess what I'm doing? I'm changing it. Watch me bring myself home. Watch me be able to cut back on hours at my job. Watch me be able to create a life where I don't have to clock in. Watch, I spoke life into where I was going. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions on this? Ask questions. I'm here to answer. This is what I'm here for. I think sometimes to get caught up on these Zooms, like leadership can like preach at you guys all day. But here's the thing, I can't do my job unless I'm helping you dig into the roots of what's holding you back. So the other thing is that Katie and I were talking about, and when it comes to branding, when I see people constantly trying to like sell something, it's ew. It's like going to the mall and seeing seeing people that are in the mall be like, try this, try this, try this. Oh my goodness, try this. You automatically are like running past those people, right? That's what people are doing to you when you're constantly trying to sell people. They're running past you. They're scrolling right past your stuff. So in order to stand out in network marketing, you have to be authentically you and bring something to the table, which is why I'm talking about niching. You got to get strong in your niche, and we all have it. Maybe it's weight loss journey for you. Then you need to be vulnerable and share those before and after pictures, no matter where you're at. Taking people on that journey. What are you doing? If you're drinking water and that's your goal, like, hey, I'm trying to eat a little bit better. I'm taking my premium nutrition. I'm going in and I'm drinking my water. Let's do an accountability group together. You create things around your niche. You create things around your brand. I know women that are photographers in this business, and they incorporate their photography business with network marketing because it goes hand in hand. It's just about sharing your story and sharing your life and sharing you. Okay. I don't run two businesses, so I don't know. You can't go to the top of two network marketing companies, and any entrepreneur will tell you this. So you have to be passionate about your plan A. I mean, first off, let's see, if you're a body coach and stuff like that, like if that's like health and stuff is your niche, then you share your health journey and share your tools and share your knowledge and share that and make it a part of your brand. You know, there's times when I was in the fittest part of my life and I'd be talking about meal plans and workout plans. And I'd be like, hey, customers, when you become a customer with me, you're going to get access to this. That's why we have the customer page. That's where that customer page was born, was taking people on that journey of giving them the tools they need to get accountable. Let's see. I'm just making sure I'm asking and answering any questions. So fighting addiction, anxiety, and depression and abuse, you share it. You take your power back. By not talking about it, you're giving your circumstances power. Do you guys realize that? By not sharing about it, whatever it is, you're giving that circumstance power over you. The more you share your pain, the more it becomes your power. Does that make sense? So maybe you had to go work and get a part-time job. Why? First off, why? If it was income, because bills were tight for your family, then you need to share that. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to niche down behind not the circumstance, but the root. So social media do's and don'ts. You want to talk about some social media? What do you think social media do's and don'ts are? First off, you got to be in integrity too. I want to talk about this really quick, just really, really quick. You got to walk it like you talk it. I think I've heard a couple of leaders say, like, if I were to go to you right now and look at your page and it's all like roses and rainbows and all this stuff, right? And then I talk to you behind the scenes and your post doesn't match the wording that you talked to me about, there's going to be a disconnect and people aren't going to trust you. Also, what goes on behind closed doors when no one is looking is your true heart posture and character traits of why maybe you're not seeing results. So how are you thinking when no one's looking? How are you acting? If you're constantly drinking and partying and hanging out with random guys all the time and doing, I don't know, I'm just going on a list of random things. And then you're acting like you're like holier than thou and your life is so great and this and that, but you're not loving yourself fully, there's going to be a disconnect. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to start walking it like you talk it, first off. Like I've gotten very clear, you guys, I've gotten very clear, like my team page and my team chat, if you're not a part of it for 30 days, you're removed. You can come back. Everyone's always welcome to this community and this team, but I don't allow lack mindsets and half-ass vibes constantly in my atmosphere. And I'm a huge believer that if people are half in constantly, that mindset and that vibe and that energy leaks out into my chat and it leaks out into my team page. So I prune the dead branches. It's in the Bible. I make room for fruit that bears new fruit. If you have people that leave and half in, half out, let them be. Stop worrying about those people. You can lead people to the water. You cannot make them drink water. Okay. So next thing. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I know this. This is just my brain. This is what you get. So next thing, and I spell horribly all the time. So if that's something that you're worried about, because I've heard people talk about that, oh my God, go look at my page. I have a GED and I only went to sophomore year. Like, so please don't let that be your stopping point. This mom that's building a multiple $million team and I'm going to be a millionaire this year, I'm claiming it, literally has her GED and only went to sophomore year. So stop allowing your grammar or what people think to hold you back. Okay. First off. And that's referring to posting and stories and all the things. So copying and pasting. If you're copying and pasting posts, you're not going to get anywhere in this business. Point blank, period, simple. Sorry. But if you're copying and pasting posts, it's not you. And guess what? If you're not being you, why would anyone want to join you? Copying and pasting does not get you anywhere, but I will give you tips around this. So when I don't know what to post and I'm kind of like stuck and I'm like, this is what I would do at the beginning. My self-development was the tool that allowed me to be able to flow into my post and to put like little power sentences into my captions. So for example, there is a post that I did this weekend that has affirmations on it. Those affirmations that I posted weren't affirmations that just came out of my own mind. These are affirmations that I pulled from a book, but recreated into my own wording. So I got inspired by X and made it my own by Z. Does that make sense? And then guess what? Because I had this little affirmation thing that inspired me, it allowed other things to flow through my mind that came to my mind that I made into a post. Self-development is literally the key to knowing what to post, first off. So if you're not doing self-development daily, that's probably why you don't know what to put in your captions. Second thing is, if you don't know what to put in your captions, it's because you're trying to probably sell all the time and pitch people and get people in your inbox instead of just being genuinely you and not worrying about who hops in your inbox and who's going to join your team or who's going to be a customer. I don't go into my posting or my stories with the expectation of someone hopping in my inbox. I go with the expectation of someone being impacted. I also am in my chapter 20. Some of you are in your chapter 1, and you need to share people and take people on that journey of your chapter 1. Does that make sense? Like, stop acting like you're some professional entrepreneur that makes 6 figures a year when you're in your chapter 1 and you're just getting started. Be you and own your season and own where you're at. You're not Miss Know-It-All, just like I'm not Miss Know-It-All. I don't have it all figured out. I haven't arrived. I'm not perfect. I'm failing my way forward along with every single one of you. But I just own it. And I own the season I'm in, wherever I'm in. Like, for example, I'll take you, when I was selling my house last year and my mortgage fell through the day that my U-Haul was packed up to move into my new house, my mortgage fell through. My loan officer literally called me and be like, hey, we can't fund your loan. My U-Haul was packed to move in. I was homeless for a month and had to move into my mom's house until I could figure this out. Some of you will let off the gas in circumstances like that. If you did or do or whatever in hard circumstances, evaluate why. Because at the end of the day, all your little green dots are on every single day on social media anyways. So you have to get hungry. The fact that those were my circumstances, I was like, I will never be in this circumstance again where I'm having to stress about these things. I'm going to go into a next level of me, meaning in my mindset, not my business, my mindset. Okay. My discipline, my vision. I know a lot of people remember that. It was the hardest season of one of the hardest seasons of my life, but it didn't become my excuse. It became my push. Okay. So Christmas this year, it's what, like less than 90 days away. My goal is to have over 100 women not put Christmas on credit cards or on layaway. What does that feel like for you? What would that feel like this year if you didn't have to do that? Because I remember I don't think this is a store anymore. I forget what's the store? Big K or whatever it was called back in the day, Kmart. I don't know. Is it Kmart? I don't know. Anyways, and they have layaway. Remember how they all had layaway and everyone would go there on Christmas time and you would just rack up layaway. It was like layaway heaven. Right? Does anyone remember that? I was layaway queen. I would figure out ways to do layaways everywhere. When I got Kingston back from after me being sober, layaway was my best friend. But I remember what it was like having to walk in around Christmas time, not being able to pay the full amount of layaway, or maybe like not being able to even come up with the layaway, or being like, hey, Dad, can I borrow money to put it on your credit card so I can at least get Kingston Christmas presents? I've been there. But guess what? If that is your circumstance, that means you can change your future with this business if you're willing to go all in. You have to decide. So social media don'ts and do's is 1, don't post more than 2 times a day. First off. Okay. Don't go in and share 6,000 things on your stories. I had a girl come to me today and she's like, I don't think this business is for me. I'm having conversations all the time, but I'm not seeing results. I said, okay, let me go look at your social media first, because that's always what I do first. You want to know what I saw? Nothing but shared recipes, jokes, randomness, all the things, and nothing about her business for over a month. I was like, well, there's your problem, boo. Why would anyone want to join you when you can't even lead yourself to trust for your own future? So 1, stop sharing things. Make your own things. If you like jokes, make your own jokes. Make some TikToks that are funny. Make some reels that are funny. If you're kind of like a humorous person, then go create humor. Okay, next thing. If you love quotes and you're sharing quotes all the time, make your own quotes. You can use a quote and just put it on Canva and make your own and be creative with it and make your own content around it. The more you get creative, the more you get confident. There's things that you have to realize. The other thing is social media do's and don'ts. Have you gone live? When was the last time you went live? What scares you so much about pushing that button? What is it? People's opinions? Okay, are they paying your bills? No. So if they're not paying your bills, are you able to pay yours with the value of people's opinions by not making that change within the actions that you're avoiding? Because I promise you, the things that are attached to your breakthroughs and blessings are attached to the things that you're avoiding. You need to show your face, and you need to show your passion, and you need to go face to face in your stories, and you need to go live. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you haven't been live in the last 3 weeks, guess what? You have 10 minutes after the Zoom to do it. Some of you won't, though, because you're allowing others to hold you back still. And that's the root work that I'm talking about when it comes to rooting up your niche and rooting up your business. Why is people's opinions holding you back? First, examine these things. And then when you examine the root of where it's coming from, you can start doing the work around the thing that's holding you back. I go live sometimes 1 to 2 times a week. I don't make it overcomplicated, and I don't really have a structure. Like when it comes to like the tools of things, when it comes to business, I don't overcomplicate it. I follow what's on my heart. Does that make sense? Like, I don't be like, I have to go live. I don't make it a task, and I don't make it a chore. I make it, this business is a blessing to me. This business is not something I have to do. This is something I get to do. So I get to go live. So when I get to go live, it's because my heart is prompting me to go live. You want that? Oh, God, this dog is like a monster. Sorry. The next thing is you have to follow the inspired action. The inspired action. So when was the last time you talked about going live with a sideline sister and talking about the opportunity event? When was the last time you did a social media makeover on your page, like an audit? Go through the last 10 posts and ask yourself, am I trying to sell something or am I trying to share my heart and my value? Okay, the next thing, and this has nothing to do with really social media, but the atmosphere of what you bring to your social media. Some of you need to raise your vibration. What I mean by that is your tone of voice, your excitement, you're smiling. When you're voice messaging, am I hearing, well, today I can get you going for, no, oh my goodness, today I'm going to be able to get you a free box of shakes included with your month supply. And then once you get that, you're going to be able to get added to my customer group. It's full of meal recipes and like snack ideas, workout ideas, all the things for accountability to help you get to your goals. Do you see that simple octave level just change the whole narrative of how I'm talking? Some of you need to practice smiling. And I love you, but you do. I mean, at the end of the day, people are intimidated. I'm intimidating, and I'm scared to come to you because you're gonna know what you're gonna get with me. I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So a lot of people avoid coming to me. But when you really get to know who I am, I'm the goofiest, randomest, blondest person in the world, and I just fail my way forward. And I'm just me. And once people are willing to let down their walls, you can let down I let down my walls. But the thing is, it takes you being able to change the narrative of what you bring to the table. So for example, in order for people to come to me, I had to start being more empathetic, more like nice, like sounding. I go through the same things. I'm the nicest person in the world, but because I'm so direct, people think people get the wrong vibe. You know what I mean? I'm not here to help people stay stuck. So just because I tell you what you don't want to hear, doesn't mean I'm a mean person. It just means that your perception is that. And so what happens is you have to create an atmosphere for a vulnerability, and you have to create an atmosphere of confidently being you. I don't water myself down anymore. Just like you shouldn't water yourself down anymore. Does that make sense? Like if you're one of those people who are like, hey, I'm worried about going live because I'm worried about what people think. Stop allowing that to be the narrative and just start pushing the button. The more you push the button, the more you're going to grow vulnerability. And the more you grow vulnerability, the more you're going to grow confidence. Does that make sense? And so when it comes to niching in your brand and it comes to all the social media do's and don'ts, like I can teach you all these things, but really it's the basics. Like reels are trending. If you're not utilizing reels, you're missing out on a huge part of your market. First off. Okay. If your pictures are grainy and they look spammy, and honestly, I'm just being nice and like gross, like unorganized and like dark all the time, and there's no clarity to your pictures, then you got to realize you have to create eye captivating marketing. You don't see like all these department stores have like dark shadowy photos and grainy looking pictures and just putting something to put up there. No, you need to take some pride in your work and professionalism in your work. Does that make sense? My pictures are lighted, but if you go back to 5 years ago, they were not. And it took me growing and realizing the value in clarity, lighting, and angles to realize that it changes the game. So maybe it's that small little tweak. That small little tweak, and it just changes everything for you. Does that make sense? Also, I'm going to just kind of give some tips on this part. When you are posting and doing captions, I want you to kind of self-evaluate what you're putting out. So for example, I will talk about like products and customer stuff on one day, right? In my stories, or maybe on my post, or like a before and after. I kind of have a theme for each day, if that makes sense. The next day, I'll talk more about like my life or family life or mindset. Like I have a theme for each day so that I kind of keep on track to knowing how to put content out or knowing what to post. And also, if let's say you are on social media and you're constantly posting, You need to stop. You need to stop posting more than 2 times a day, not being spammy. You need to go self-evaluate your social media after you get off of this. Every first of the month, I change my cover photo, I change my profile picture, and I don't really change my bio that often, but when I do it intentionally. You will not see me talking about how I build Wi-Fi wealth. I don't do that. I'm not here to talk about that. People know what I do, just like if you're showing up, they know what you do. You need to talk about you in your bio and the value of what like your niche is. So for example, I think I have like pain is your power on my bio. That's a huge huge statement that I say all across the board because it draws into my sobriety. So when people come to my inbox, they know that I've gone through sobriety. They know that I'm going through these things because my bio is a glimpse into who I am. Sorry, my son's texting me because they're waiting for me to go up to where they're at. Anyways, yes, Linktree. The other thing, Linktree or Milkshake, those are 2 things that I use, and I will do more of an in-depth training on it because Jenna had asked me to go more in depth on it. But if you go to my bio or you go to on either Instagram or Facebook, I use Milkshake personally, but it has different highlights in it. So like I'll have like a sample option. I'll have a watch a opportunity video option. I'll have why do you want to join my team option. You don't have to do all that though. That's the other thing. If it feels good to you, then do it. If it doesn't feel good to you right now, then don't do it. That's the other thing that you need to give yourself some grace in. Do what your heart is prompting you to do. But you have to do it with consistency. So I'm going to stop